Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer. You know, it's wild how some mornings just flow, right? Completely effortless, totally calm. But then other days, man, you feel like you're miles behind before your feet even hit the floor. Well, today we are exploring a massive contrast. We're looking at our usual frantic, overloaded modern mornings versus the super quiet, incredibly intentional Japanese philosophy of starting the day. We're talking about a concept that could literally rewire how your brain experiences the next 12 hours. So picture our default modern morning. The alarm goes off. Boom, you instantly grab your phone. You're checking messages, scrolling emails, swiping through social media. Bang, bang, bang. It's this rapid fire reflex that we're all guilty of. And honestly, we don't even think about it anymore. But here's what's actually happening. Stress, comparison, deadlines, endless noise. I mean, within literally 5 minutes of opening your eyes, your brain is just slammed with massive cognitive overload. You are getting absolutely bombarded with demands and anxiety before you've even had a chance to pour your coffee. Okay, let's just pause for a second and slow things right down. Ask yourself this: what exact state of mind am I bringing into this day? See, most of us wake up totally fixated on productivity, like how fast can I get moving? But traditional Japanese philosophy flips that entirely. It shifts the focus away from checking boxes and immediate output and places it squarely on your internal emotional state. Which brings us to section 1, the concept of Ma and intentional transitions. Instead of violently jumping from the deep unconsciousness of sleep straight into the hyperactivity of our modern lives, traditional Japanese habits use a really small, highly intentional period of adjustment. This brings us to Ma. Now, Ma is often translated as negative space, but in this context, think of it as the pause between things. It is that crucial breathing room that lets your mind actually settle. You know, in our culture, the literal second we wake up, we fill the silence. Podcasts, news, notifications, you name it. But Japanese culture treats this silence entirely differently. It's not wasted time, no way. It is absolutely vital preparation before your brain gets crowded with all that daily information. It really is a stark contrast in human operating systems. Think about it. On one side, you have the modern morning, which is totally obsessed with speed, accomplishment, and this scattered, divided attention. And then on the other side, a morning prioritizing quiet, observation, and beautifully unified attention. It's basically a completely different way to program that critical first hour of your day. Let's move right into section 2, your brain on waking, looking at the neuroscience of the morning. Because here is the science behind it. Waking up isn't just flipping a switch on a machine. Your brain is going through a super sensitive transition between states of consciousness. If your very first input is stress, say reading an angry email from your boss, you trigger this immediate cortisol spike. Your nervous system is instantly trained to start scanning for more threats. You're in reaction mode right out of the gate. But if your first input is calmness, your brain actually becomes highly receptive to calm. You are quite literally setting your emotional baseline for the rest of the day. It's huge. That leads us right to section 3, observation before action and anchoring the present. Before you dive headfirst into performance mode, taking just a brief moment to simply observe is a profoundly effective antidote to anxiety. And why does that work? Well, it's because anxiety almost always lives in the future. Meanwhile, the present moment is usually perfectly still. So doing really simple things, opening a window, preparing some tea, maybe a little light stretching, or even just looking out at the weather, these are not insignificant actions. Psychologically, they do something absolutely crucial. They anchor your attention firmly in the present moment, completely free from any sense of urgency. This perfectly mirrors traditional Japanese tea culture, or chado. The core lesson there isn't just about brewing a drink. It's about the profound act of slowing down enough to fully experience just one single thing. One cup, one action, one breath. While our modern life constantly trains us to fracture our focus into a million pieces, this practice trains us to beautifully unify our attention. And you know, your physical environment is the hidden piece of this whole puzzle. Cluttered spaces create immediate, direct mental friction. Even if you don't realize it, your brain is subconsciously processing every single unfinished task and object it sees in that room, which leads straight back to cognitive overload. On the flip side, simple, clean spaces like a clear table, some natural light, a bit of open space, they subtly communicate safety to your nervous system. And as we know, a safe nervous system is exactly what allows for a quiet mind. All right, on to our final piece, section 4, reclaiming your attention through this simple shift. Now, the best part about all of this is that achieving this state of Ma doesn't require buying some expensive new gadget, and you certainly don't need a grueling 25-step productivity routine. Actually, scratch that. It's way simpler. All you truly need is just a few minutes of unclaimed attention. That is it, just a brief little window in the morning where the outside world doesn't get to immediately hijack your mind. Your attention is your absolute most valuable resource. How you spend those very first moments dictates exactly where that resource is going to go for the rest of your day. Ultimately, peace isn't this magical thing we stumble upon later in the afternoon. It is something we have to practice first. Think about it. If you practice peace before the emails hit, before the endless meetings, and before all the noise, you're not just setting yourself up for a nice morning. You are effectively creating a much calmer, more grounded version of yourself who's ready to handle absolutely anything the rest of the day decides to throw at you. Which brings us to the end of today's explainer. I want to leave you with a final, kind of provocative question to chew on. What is the very first thing you do after waking up? Tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off, are you going to reflexively reach for your phone and let the world's noise flood in? Or are you going to give yourself just a few quiet moments of ma? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today. And remember, the quality of your day truly begins with the quality of your morning.